The Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
We begin with a breaking update in the Brown University shooting investigation. Sources say police now know the name of that person of interest they've been searching for and are now working to serve a warrant. Investigators are also exploring whether that person is connected to the murder of a nuclear scientist near MIT. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. It's been nearly a week since the gunman killed 2 students and wounded 9 others. While we monitor the situation, though, we're still hearing stories from those who were at the school at the time and those who really fear going back.
Now, Fox 61's Alicia Hercules is live with the latest details and new concerns from students. Alicia.
Brent, there have been a lot of concerns regarding safety on campus prior to Saturday's shooting, specifically the lack of cameras in the area of the Barris and Holly building where the shooter entered.
Anyone can walk into this building. The door is often propped open. I was able to walk into my exam without swiping in.
Earlier this week, Isabel Tribe, a junior at Brown University, voiced concerns over security at the Barris and Holly building. She had an exam in that very building a few hours before the shooting happened. Her concerns echo those of many others online, criticizing the university's lack of cameras in that portion of the building. In a press conference Tuesday, Attorney General Peter Nerona said they had no clear images of the shooter entering the building. Despite these concerns, Brown University President Christina Paxson said safety has always been the school's top priority.
Brown is deeply committed to the safety and security and well-being of our community. And I've been deeply saddened to see people questioning that.
Investigators say the Barris and Holly building has an older section connected to a newer one. The older section has fewer cameras. Chief Academic Officer Frank J. Doyle says Brown has more than 1,200 cameras on campus.
There are cameras in this building, and as I answered the previous question, we have turned over all evidence that we are holding at Brown to law enforcement and are cooperating fully with them.
The shooting happened on Saturday as many students were studying for their finals on campus. In a press conference Wednesday, Rodney Chapman, the Vice President for Public Safety and Emergency Management, said during daytime hours there is open access to academic spaces. He also said there normally isn't security personnel in the Barris and Holly building.
On that day, we did not have and do not have a security asset posted inside the building. That is typical for that academic space.
A student has also started an online petition calling for all buildings on campus to require ID swipes for entry. And again, as soon as that press conference gets started, we'll bring it to you live. But until then, live in Providence, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
Thank you, Alicia. We're also following some breaking news out of North Carolina. A retired NASCAR driver and his family are among the 7 victims of a small plane crash. State police say former driver Greg Biffle and members of his family were on that business jet. According to the FAA, the plane crashed and caught fire while trying to land at Statesville Regional Airport. That's about 45 miles north of Charlotte. Preliminary flight tracking data from FlightAware shows the private jet took off from the airport, flew about 5 miles, then made a sharp left turn back to the airport. The plane reportedly never got higher than 2,000 feet in the air. Biffle has raced at Lime Rock Park in Lakeville. The car racing venue says they'll remember his warm smile and generous spirit. He was 55 years old.
All right, to Waterbury now, where the boil water advisory has finally been lifted. Officials tell us water quality samples came back negative for bacteria at 4:09 this afternoon. The city has been under the advisory for nearly a week now following a water main break. Leaders say they will review system performance and advance infrastructure planning efforts.
Now to the weather. Our team is tracking heavy rain and winds that will sweep across the state coming up later tonight. Winds could be strong as 40 to 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, which is a stiff wind, but at least the high winds and rain won't come with sub-freezing temperatures. That would be worse. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is here now with how we can prepare and what we can expect when we wake up tomorrow. Rach.
Yeah, those temperatures will actually be the other extreme. It will be so warm that we will challenge the daily record high temperature for the day. 50s to near 60 degrees. But while it is warm, it will be wet and windy for the morning commute. So we have issued a weather impact alert just to let you know that you might want to charge your devices. There's a chance for some isolated outages and add some extra time to your morning commute as well. Some big puddles out there. A wind advisory is in effect statewide. Again, we could see gusts up around or towards 50 miles per hour. And there's even stronger wind gusts for our friends over the border in Rhode Island. Temperatures right now are in the 30s to right around 40 degrees, but we actually see the numbers rise as we head through the overnight. We'll also see the wind gusts rise. So the winds are calm for now, but again, not for too much longer. Here's a look at the system that we are tracking. Lots of rain to tap into. Again, overnight, look at the temperatures. We climb as we head towards daybreak. It starts off rainy and not only wet, but windy and warm. Here's a look at those temperatures. And then heading through the afternoon, we'll see that rain come to an end. The wind remains. I think the worst of the wind will be in the morning, but it will remain blustery right into tomorrow night, especially when we get a secondary push of some cooler air. We'll show you the future radar, help you plan your day and the weekend coming up.
So it's very clear. The law is very clear. We are tired. I am tired. We need to know the why, and you need to follow the law.
Capital Preparatory Charter School says it is suing the State Department of Education and the State Board of Education, accusing them of breaking the law by failing to fund a new school in Middletown. School leaders say the lack of funding is blocking access to more choices for underserved families. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson is in Middletown with more on the lawsuit.
2 years ago, Capital Preparatory Charter School was approved to bring a school to Middletown. But since then, there's no construction, no site plan, or even student applications being taken. That's because the funding they were approved for still hasn't reached the hands of Capital Prep leaders. By now, Capital Prep leaders wish these claps were coming after a ribbon cutting opening their new school in Middletown. Instead, they're coming after powerful words from Middletown native Laura Dunkley.
They feel as if we are trying to take over. We're not. We're just concerned for our children.
Through the state's request for approval form, Capital Prep was approved for a new school location in Middletown in 2023, but they've still yet to receive that funding. Leaders like Anita Ford Saunders have spent the last 2 years asking one question: why?
I have personally spoken to the State Department of Education 5 times. We have pled the case. No one can give us an answer why. We need to know the why, and you need to follow the law.
The law that Saunders is referring to is Connecticut General Statute 1066EE, which states both that charter schools shall receive any available federal funds for education, and charter schools shall be eligible for special education, competitive state grants, and grants pursuant to other sections in the statute. Not only was Capital Prep approved for the Middletown location, but they also were the highest ranked school to apply. And in Connecticut, the first ranked school must be prioritized when funding is being allocated.
Following the law of the state of Connecticut, and award Capital Prep, the #1 school, approved their funding.
Other mobilization attempts have fell short of forcing the State Department and Board of Education to adhere to the funding requirements. In October, Capital Prep supporters rallied at North Haven High School, where they attempted to plead their case at a Board of Education meeting. The board voted 7-1 in opposition to them being responsible for the funding. Attorney Mark Samaruga now represents Capital Prep in this lawsuit and says taking the state to court is the only solution.
And in any year where more than one school is approved there's insufficient funds, who should get the funding? The highest ranked school. You were. The law was designed for that. Unfortunately, the law was not followed.
Before the lawsuit was filed, leaders say they turned to the governor for help.
And the response was stern. Yeah, we got told it was very stern, that they felt that no law was broken. So that's when we decided we can't even talk to our own governor about this.
We reached out to Governor Ned Lamont's office and the State Department of Education. Both declined to comment due to pending legal proceedings. The State Board of Education hasn't responded to us yet. Capital Prep leaders believe bringing a school to Middletown could help close educational deficiency gaps for underprivileged youth in the area. Their 3 other charter schools have a focus on social justice curriculum and college readiness. In Middletown, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Some big revitalization projects are coming to the Farmington Avenue area of Hartford. Today, Mayor Arun Arulampalam and Speaker of the House Matt Ritter announced a $5.6 million total investment plan for corridors along the avenue. The money will be used to support small business developments along Sisson Avenue and Laurel Street intersections with Farmington Avenue. This project's part of the city's Neighborhood Investment Fund, which was started earlier this year. Mayor Arulampalam says they chose Farmington because of its potential. In the past, it was home to many more small businesses that either relocated or shut down over the years.
Our hope is to build small businesses in neighborhoods again, to allow for everyone in every neighborhood to have access to places to eat, to have coffee, to gather, to feel like a community again.
The $5.6 million are a combination of state and city funding.
Well, state police say a Putnam man died this morning after he drove into a sign and several posts in Ashford. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused it. Officials tell us Roy Anderson was driving on Route 74 around 4:15 a.m. when they say he drove off the road and hit a traffic sign. We're told he continued to travel into the Route 44 intersection and then into a parking lot. Troopers say Anderson hit multiple posts and then his car rolled over. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
16-year-old was hit by a car near Kennedy High School in Waterbury this morning. Police say they're expected to be okay. We have called out to learn more information, but officers say the driver stayed on scene. Investigators are currently looking into this.
Bristol police are asking for the public's help after getting a report that a stranger tried to lure a little girl into a car. Investigators say it happened a little before 3:30 yesterday afternoon on High Street after the girl got off her school bus. They say a person in a small black SUV approached her, asked if she needed a ride, and then followed her briefly before leaving. Police share this video of the incident, and they're asking anyone with information or surveillance footage to contact them.